Yoga and relationships, relationships and yoga. So, one of the great causes of suffering in our lives, in our yoga practice, and of course in our relationships, is our confusion about control and surrender. See, we think we have control over a lot of things that we actually totally do not have control over. Like for me, I want him to act this way. I want him to express his feelings this way. I want him to be like this. And then I will feel okay. If he behaves this way, then I'll be good. If he does his job this way or cleans up his apartment this way, then my life is fine. But the fact is that I totally do not have control over what he does, what he says, what he thinks, what he feels. And if I try to make myself make that happen, like I start changing my behavior because I want him to like me, or I want to be okay, or I start worrying, am I pretty enough? Did I dress right? Am I behaving in the right way? I'm suffering from this idea that if I change the way I am, that I can change the way he is. And it's just not true. So we get confused because we think we have control over them. And can we just put it to rest? We don't. That isn't to say there isn't participation, but ultimately, they are them. And here's the other part of it, is that we forget that we have control over ourselves. I just felt that way. I was in the moment. I couldn't help myself. Oh. We forget that we are accountable for our reactions and how we are in the world. That there is something that we have responsibility for. However we show up, we are responsible for that. And that somehow we export that. We get confused about these two things. So in the Bhagavad Gita, thousands of years ago written, they were struggling with the same question. And Krishna, God, proposes to Arjuna. He says, hey, man, dude, hey, do your best. Do your best. Surrender the fruits of your actions. You don't have control over that. There's a bigger picture, my friend, that you do not have control over, a universe that you do not have control over, but you can control yourself. Do your best. Commit fully. So this is what we can do. In our yoga practice, in our relationships, we can show up fully, we can be fully ourselves, and we can be our best self. Not for them, for us. We do our best, and then we leave the rest to God. The rest to the universe, the rest to our higher power. Recognize what you have control over, because it's a lot, all of this stuff, and what you don't. And as we start to let that go, we stop making our partner be a certain way to make us okay. We start instead looking at ourselves, because that's where the real change can happen. Bhagavad Gita. Control, surrender. That's the thought for now. See you on the mat.